It is so important to make sure that you get to the events, because honestly, for a lot of people, where it really clicks for them is when they get to a Super Saturday. And they have them quarterly. So if you're a brand new coach, just know that they have them quarterly. They have the dates posted in advance so you can plan accordingly, mark them on your calendar, but just get there. You will be super inspired. You'll be able to do an awesome workout with everybody, get to hear about all these awesome things coming up. And it's a great time. So check the thread in the team page. I also made a post in the team page today to comment below with where you're going. And I'm going to be drawing like 5 winners to raffle off some tank tops too. So comment below where you're going. It's not too late. You can check the FAQ in the Coach Online office and find one in your area. Some people run them on their own if there's not one locally. I drive over an hour to go. I go to the Clearwater one now in Florida. So just get to one and you'll see what I mean if you've never been to one, but they're awesome. So we have that coming up this weekend. Our summit ticket prices are discounted $165 for this month. So if you don't have a ticket, you need to buy it. Even if that means that you put it on your credit card, guys, you have to get to Summit. It's an investment in your business. It's an investment in you. Investing into this and into you is what's going to earn you 5 to 10 times more income. So you can't think small in this business. You can't keep saying, I don't have the money, I can't afford it. You have to flip it around and say, I'm going to make it happen because this is going to change my business. And it's going to help me actually earn more income, even though I'm putting that on my card now. It's a tax deductible. It is an investment in you. And trust me, you can ask anybody who's been to Summit. It is worth it. And you just have to get there. So we have those tickets are on sale, $165 this month. $20 off on all mega and deluxe packs this month as well. The Beachbody bars, guys, are being released tomorrow. I'm so excited about this. I was able to try both the flavors when I was at a leadership event, and they are so good. And I'm a bar person. I love eating bars. So those are coming out tomorrow. So let your people know. Spread the word. They are delicious, gluten-free. You can check out FAQ 9754 to get more information about exactly what's in them and all that fun stuff. Also, the Success Club reward this month from Beachbody is Beachbody clothing. So you want to make sure that you lock in helping at least 3 people right off the beginning of the month. Like, let's just lock this in by the 2nd week of the month, get it over and done with, and then anybody else that you help is just extra and more people that you can help, more income that you can earn. Don't wait till the last minute. Get out there, take action today, start inviting, following up, adding new to your network, building new relationships, and just commit to doing that every day. And if you put that deadline in your mind of like the 15th of the month is when I am going to hit Success Club instead of the 30th of the month, you will set yourself up for better success, okay? And last but not least, if you would like to receive an invite to the Success Club party at Summit, these are really cool, guys, if you can get to the parties there. You receive a special invitation, and you can only receive an invitation if you've received a combined total of 20 Success Club points from March and April. So even if you ended last month with 0, you can still help 10 people this month and get an exclusive invitation to the party. You can bring a guest with you. Tons of fun. This is where all the personal trainers and the celebrity trainers hang out. You get to actually meet and greet with them, take pictures with them. They have live music, fancy food, awesome desserts. It's all revolved around food. It's awesome. And actually, I have one more thing too. Just a reminder, our Diamond Retreat is in August. So I'm actually going to be putting together, sorry guys, I'm like so dehydrated today. I'm going to be putting together a list of people who are, as of right now, officially qualified to receive an invitation from me to attend this 3rd week in August, okay? Now, I'm going to be sending out invitations. Like, you're going to probably have to lock it in by July to receive an invitation to it, just so that way you can plan accordingly. I can get everything I need ordered. So even though it's April now, guys, try to, if this is one of your goals to build your business and to increase your income and help more people and reach those big goals that you have, try to hit that goal so you can grow beyond that within the next couple of months. So you're not like crunch time down to the last minute in July. So I'm going to be putting together a list of the people who are qualified already. There's a good 15 people so far, and the household's like 28 people. So it's going to be a big one, but it's going to be awesome, and I'm really looking forward to it. So I think that's everything that I have for you guys tonight. Tonight, I'm super pumped. I'm sure you guys know Courtney Bordeaux. She is amazing, guys. If you're a brand new coach, you need to follow her on social media. She is a mom to 2 little boys, and she is just totally rocking it at this business. It's not easy being a stay-at-home mom because it's just non-stop. You never really get that break. It's not like the kids are in school all day and she can sit there and work on her business. It's like a total shit show. And she's totally killing it with her business. And I asked her specifically to talk to you guys tonight about how to really push past your fears that you have so that you can really be who you're supposed to be, so you can really kick ass in this business. Because the reason why you are not where you want to be right now is because you have some form of fear holding you back. Maybe it's a fear of success, maybe it's a fear of failure, maybe it's a fear of inviting, but whatever it is, when you look at yourself right now and you aren't where you are, where you want to be, it's because you have that fear holding you back. And Courtney's been so awesome at just like giving that fear the middle finger and just like pushing past it. Like I'll never forget when she first signed up to become a coach, she literally did not even want to post on Facebook. Like she was too worried and scared to post on Facebook. And now look at her, right? She's like a pro social media expert. She's amazing. And she's doing it the right way. And she knows what she wants out of life, and she believes and knows that this business can lead her to that. And so she is going to talk to you guys all about that. It's going to be so helpful. I hope you have your pen and paper out tonight because it's going to rock. And Courtney, thanks so much for being on. I was looking forward to this all day.
Yes, guys, it is such a shit show. I'm in a horrible mood because they don't give me a break. So I'm going to change that vibe right now. So it's funny because I wrote down notes. So if I look down, it's because I wrote down notes because I'm just a hot mess and I can't remember anything by this time of day. It's just, my brain is just shot. So I titled my notes too. I titled it "Fuck Fear" because that's essentially how I feel. If you all follow me, we all follow each other, you know that I have a bit of a potty mouth. So I apologize if you guys are not listening on headphones. I just can't help myself. So anyways, so I've been coaching. It's going to be it's like 2.5 years. I think I started in October, 2015, but I didn't really start. I signed up and I think I didn't really start doing anything till like that end of November that year. But so I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have 2 boys. Cameron is just turned 5. Cole is about to turn 3. And Cam's in preschool. Cole's in daycare twice a week, but it's just, they're typical boys. They're high energy. It's just non-stop. It's funny. I was easier working my business, I think, when I started when they were younger than it is now at this age, at this stage. So it's kind of, there's been a shift. But I was a graphic designer before I started this. I always worked for small businesses. Fear was a huge thing in my life. Like fear held me back from like day one. I've always had a tendency towards anxiety, towards depression, more anxiety. And it's anxiety around like worry and fear and like the unknown and just like not being in control. Fear of not being enough, fear of failing. And so as a graphic designer, I did graphic design and marketing. I always took positions with that fear at the forefront, like positions I was probably overqualified for, positions that maybe were like a little easier because I didn't want to fail or I didn't want to let anyone down. I just didn't think that highly of myself. But I also wasn't ever this person that wanted to be this career woman. Like that was never, I didn't have these big goals. Like, oh, I want to grow up and be a graphic designer and work for an agency and blah, blah, blah. Like I never was like my thing. I always craved freedom. I craved flexibility. I didn't like someone telling me what to do. I didn't like authority. So I took jobs at companies that were smaller. It was never corporate. But I was very stuck. There wasn't much room for growth, and I was very disposable. So I was laid off twice, actually. The second time right before I started doing this. The first time I was laid off was before I had kids. And so a quick story on fear, like how much it held me back in life. I remember I was laid off and I was working with like a headhunter trying to find another position. And I got an interview at an advertising agency. And there's only a handful in where I am in Connecticut. There's a handful of pretty, reputable agencies. And this was one of them. And I was terrified. And I got in there, and I'm actually really good at interviews. I don't know why. I'm just really good at job interviews. So I got the job. And then I panicked. And I think I pretty much lied to everyone. I think I was dating Matt at the time. I don't remember. I lied to my parents. I lied to everyone. I don't know if I told them that I didn't get the job or that there was like something weird that happened there that made me turn down the job. But I turned down the job, you guys, because of fear. Because I was like, all right, this is a fluke. Like, there's no way they really want to hire me. Like, what if I get in there and I'm not good enough? What if I'm not good enough compared to everyone else? Like, just complete panic, fear. And I didn't take the position. Like, I allowed it to dictate, what I did. It's horrible. It's horrible thinking about that now. But at the same time, like, everything happens for a reason. So obviously it wasn't meant to be. And I don't think I wanted to be an agency anyways. But so then I was laid off again, a second time when I was 9 months pregnant with my son, Cole. He had a bunch of health complications. And so I was with him on my maternity leave, unemployment, and that ran out. And that's kind of when I got into coaching. I was following Kathy for over a year, you guys. We had never interacted. Like, I think she sent me some messages, but I always ignored her. I never wrote back. Nothing. Until my unemployment was running out, and I started to panic because I didn't want to go back to that 9-to-5 job. Like, I didn't want to go back to being in a cube and being behind a desk. Like, it just wasn't. It never was me. It never felt right. I always wanted something different, but I didn't know what. And I always allowed fear to stop me. I always thought that it was too late. It was too late in the game. I had invested, gone through college for graphic design. Like, you can't start and do something different now. Like, I honestly felt like, and when I was like 32, that it was too late to try something different, to take a risk, especially when I had 2 kids now. I had a family. We had a lot of bills. We couldn't be a one-income family. Like, it just, fear, right? Everything is fear, you guys. It all comes back to fear. But something told me to message her anyways. And I got into a sneak peek. I didn't even attend it or watch it. I don't know if it was what it was, but I didn't do it till a couple weeks later. And honestly, it was just like gut intuition just told me, like, all right, do it, sign up, let's do this. I didn't tell my husband. I didn't tell him until a couple days later. I knew nothing, you guys, about Beachbody other than I was aware of their programs. Like, I had done P90X, I had done Insanity, I had done Swim in 6, like all bootleg. I never completed them. I tried to do them. But I didn't know anything about Shakeology. I didn't know anything about challenge groups. I didn't know anything about being a coach, but I became a coach to be a coach. I didn't sign up to lose weight, to do any of that. I came in to build a business and buy myself some time to stay home with Cole because I didn't want to put him in daycare. So I just knew nothing. I didn't know how we made money. I knew nothing, you guys. I never posted on social media. I had maybe 3 selfies in my phone. The rest of it was all my kids and my dog. I didn't take pictures of myself. I didn't expose myself to criticism. I didn't, nothing, you guys. I knew nothing. But I was at this, I don't want to say crossroads because that's so dramatic, but I was backed into a corner. Like, we couldn't be a one-income family. So when I signed up to do this, I asked my husband to give me 3 months and let me do this and let's see what happens. And so when I made that decision internally, it was like, all right, I have all of these fears, but I either just figure it out, just like do it and figure it out, or I don't. Because that's the thing about this business. It's like you either do the actions every single day or you don't. And if you don't, you're not going to go anywhere. You're not really coaching if you're not putting in those actions every single day, whether you know what you're doing or not. You know, like, I still don't fully know what I'm doing. Like, now I have a team underneath me and girls and asking me questions like, all right, well, how's the volume working? How's this working? I'm like, let me look that up for you, because it's been 2 years and I still don't know, because you don't need to know everything to have success, to help people, to start building your business. You just learn as you go. So I had a choice. I could either allow myself to be paralyzed by all the fears that I had, or I could just go with the business and just figure it out. So I started posting right off the rip. Like, I'd done maybe one workout and I posted, did another workout and I posted about my kids. I posted about my struggles. I posted real, raw, and vulnerably from day one, because I made myself a promise that if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it, and I'm just going to share openly. And I was terrified. So I just wanted to share with you guys some things that I've realized, because I don't think you ever like how I've learned to utilize my fears to move my business forward and help me, because the fears don't go away. They never go away. They just change, I think, as you go. Like, whereas in the beginning, I might have been terrified to post on social media or terrified to invite someone. Now my fears are different. Now my fears are like, all right, well, what if all these people do say yes? Like, how do I really help them? Or, my God, what if my team really does start taking off? Like, how do I handle that success? How do I balance? Like, you're always going to have fears and hesitations, but you can utilize them and you can learn to use them to your advantage. And so through personal development and a lot of my personal development, I read stuff that talks about just like gaining confidence and self-esteem and self-worth, and like understanding how our mindset works and how that affects literally everything. Because when I started, I had zero self-esteem. I struggle with confidence. I struggle with self-doubt, and I still really, really do. It's probably still the number one thing that's kind of still holding me back, is like just realizing that I can have success, that I'm worthy of having success, that any of us can do this and be successful. It's literally all about our mindset and believing that we can, that belief in ourselves. It's 100%. So I do a lot of personal development around that. So realizing in like what fear actually is. Like, fear comes from our limiting beliefs that we have about ourselves, that we've picked up all throughout our lives and all the different circumstances and situations that we've had. All our fear is ego-based. It all comes from our egos. So our egos want to keep us small. They want to keep us comfortable. Our egos want us to do the familiar and what we know. And when we start to step outside of that comfort zone and like take risks or step into that unknown, our egos freak out. And that's when they kind of send fear in and try and stop you and try and remind you of all the reasons why you're not good enough, or why you shouldn't, or why you can't, or what might happen. You might fail. That, your mind takes over and like tells you all the risks. And it can paralyze you, right? Because your ego does not want you to grow. It doesn't want you to be uncomfortable, because growth is uncomfortable, and that's what this business is. We're growing ourselves into the best versions of ourselves and helping other people along the way. And that shit is uncomfortable, right? None of us knew what we were doing when we started coaching. No matter how much training you do, it's still uncomfortable. And our egos don't like that. And that's what fear takes over. And it stops a lot of us in our tracks, stops us before we ever really get going. But at the other hand, and something I've kind of realized is every time in this business that I'm really scared to do something, it means I probably should do it. It means that that's exactly what I should be doing to get to that next level, or take that next step, or go in that direction of growth. That fear is actually an indicator of exactly what you should be doing to keep growing, to keep expanding and keep evolving. So I think we all probably have the same types of fears in this business. And I'm sure if I name this list, you're going to be like, yep. We're afraid of inviting. We're afraid of posting on social media, posting beyond the sweaty selfie, posting the real shit. We're afraid of talking about coaching. We're afraid of people judging us because we're doing something different. The whole stigma around network marketing and all that bullshit. We're afraid of failing. We're afraid of setting goals and not hitting them. Afraid of talking about the business, inviting to the coaching opportunity, failing our team, failing our challengers. And then once you get going, we're afraid of actually having success, because then what? Can we handle it? Will we be able to balance it all? Like, that's just as much a fear too, is when you get to that level of actually succeeding. So we all have the same fears. Like, I have them. I'm sure Kathy hasn't. Like, we all have them. But learning to recognize them for what the fears actually are. So I have this really good exercise that I recently learned, and I've been using a lot, and you can use it in all types of situations. But when you feel scared or you feel fearful or something, you need to stop and ask yourself some questions. So I'm going to use the example of inviting, because I know as new coaches, that's the thing that a lot of us have to get over, is that fear of actually inviting people to our challenge groups or to the coaching opportunity. So you want to invite someone. So say you want to invite Sally to a challenge group. You got to ask yourself, why does inviting Sally affect me this way? Like, why does inviting this person, why is it affecting me this way? And you name the situation and the feeling that's coming up. So why does inviting Sally make me so scared or so nervous? And you ask yourself, right? Because we have all the answers we need within us. Okay, so say I feel scared, and I'm scared she might reject me. So why do I feel scared? Because she might say no, because maybe she'll get upset, because maybe she'll get offended. And then ask yourself, does my experience this far support this fear? Because it's a lot of times, guys, we're afraid of things that never actually happened, that we have no proof might happen. We're creating this chaos in our minds, these situations that are not even true. So if you ask yourself, like, why am I so afraid of inviting this person? Because I'm fearful that they may reject me. They might say no. They might be offended. But do you have any proof of that? Do you have any reason to really believe that, other than your mind telling you that that might happen? No. And it's like, I'm sure most of you have read or heard of, like, the Mel Robbins, like the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Like, that's what you got to start implementing. It's like, the more you overthink these things in your business, and the more you try, and the more you wait for that perfect time, wait for that perfect opportunity, wait to have everything just right before you're going to start inviting, or before you're going to start posting, or before you're going to start sharing, the more power you give all of your fears. The more you feed all of those fears, and the stronger and the louder that they get. So that's a kind of a good exercise, is questioning it within yourself, and to realize that this is really irrational. Like, this is really stupid when I actually sit and think about it, what I'm scared of. Because what if Sally says no? Who gives a fuck? What if she's offended, or she doesn't respond? Who gives a fuck? Like, really? Does it really matter? No. Because the other thing is to realize it has nothing to do with you. Like, it really doesn't. We give other people too much power over us. Like, people are not thinking about us. They really aren't. That's the thing too, to kind of just remember. And I could go off on a rant on that, but like, when someone ghosts you, or someone says no, or someone ignores you, it has nothing to do with you guys. It's not them over there thinking like, oh, it's crazy beach body bitch, blow me up. And like, they're probably like, haven't seen your message, read your message, and completely forgot. It might just not be the right time. Like, it's just, we overthink and blow these things out of proportion in our minds because of fear of judgment, fear of, failing, all these things. So naming the emotions and getting to the root of where that fear is actually coming from really helps to take away some of the power, and really makes you see like what's actually going on, rather than feeding into it. So the other thing that really helps me, whether it's inviting someone or going live is one of the things I really struggle with. Even though I do it, it's something that I have a lot of fear around. I could post all day. Like, I could post the most vulnerable shit in the world now and not even think twice anymore. But going live is like totally, totally different. But another thing that helps me is really, and it's like so overused and annoying, but like connecting to your why. Okay, because why did you become a coach? Like, why are you doing this in the first place? It has to be so clear, you guys, and it has to be so strong. And it can't be because I want to help people, or, because I did this and I feel good and I want to pass it on. Like, yeah, We all want that, but that's not enough, because that is not going to get you to show up every day. And that's not going to get you to push back past your fears. Like, that's not, it's not powerful enough. It has to be more like, all right, hold on. I had some notes on this. Wait. Yeah. It just has to be stronger than that. So personally for myself, like, I created this why of like, and it's nothing crazy. It's just kind of this vision I got in my mind when I started coaching of how I wanted life to be for my family, like the freedom and the flexibility I wanted us to have. I didn't want to worry about debt. I didn't want to worry about bills. I wanted my kids to be able to have adventures. I want my husband to be able to have time to do all his hobbies. I want us to move out of our house. I want us to travel. Like, just these kind of little visions that form into how I want our life to be, that I cannot get out of my head now. Like, and if I allow fear to take over and I have to go back to my old life and go back to a desk job, like, I can't do it. Like, I just can't, because of this why and because of this vision. And so on those days where my kids are driving me nuts and I can't get a thing done, on those days when I'm just anxious as fuck or just in a funk and I don't want to show up, that's always in the back of my mind. So I do it anyways. I might not do it 100%. I'm not some fucking, I'm human. I don't do everything every single day, but I do something every single day because I have that strong vision and I don't want to go back to the life I had before. Like, I can't. So why did you become a coach? Like, you have to craft something that you want so badly that you're just willing to show up and face those fears and do what you got to do because you know it's going to help you get to that place. And it has to be strong. It has to be stronger than just, I want to help people. It's got to be, I want to add income to my family. I want to be able to take my family on vacation, or I want to pay off debt. I don't want to be drowning in this debt anymore. I want to be home with my kids. And you have to actually think about it and connect a feeling to it. Like, how would it feel if you actually had that? Because once you connect that feeling to it, then it's like almost like ingrained in you and you can't get it out of your head. And it's going to drive you. And so once you can kind of visualize it, it's going to drive you to show up and to face those fears. It makes it that much easier. So just getting behind the why, you guys, identifying what you want and the feeling behind it of what it would feel like is really, really, really powerful. Because honestly, to get what you want also, like, you got to have the balls to ask for what you want. Okay. So in this business, it's like, you have to have the balls to just ask people and not worry about if they'll say no, or if they don't respond, or if they may be offended. You'll never fucking know if you don't ask, right? If you don't ask, the answer is always no. So it's growing those balls. I don't know why I always say, like, that's always what comes into my head, but like, it's just having the balls to just do it, to just invite, to just mention coaching to someone, to just putting that post up that scares you, doing those actions, facing those fears. So I think it's like, yeah, so having that stake in the game, that's what it really is. It's like having that stake in the game of that vision, of that why, of where you want to go. And that's honestly going to help you silence those fears and give them less power, because you're going to want it more than you're going to want to allow it to hold you back. And honestly, my last kind of tip, or something that's really helped me, is that the more you show up and the more you do perform those actions, you guys, the less scary they really get. Like, the more you invite, before you know it, you're not even going to think twice about inviting someone. Like, the more you post, the more you get into that habit of posting and sharing every single day, you're not even going to think twice about posting. It's almost going to become therapeutic. Like, for me at this point, it's almost like this online journal, and I can share what's on my mind, whether it's about coaching, whether it's about kids, whether it's about being a mother, whether it's about overcoming self-doubt, whatever it is. And I put it out into social media, and it's cleansing almost. That's how I think about it. And it's no longer scary. It's no longer scary at all. Like going live, when I go live on Facebook, see, I don't do it consistently and I don't do it that often. So no, even though I've done it a bunch in the past, it's still so scary every time I do it because it's not consistent. It's not something I do all the time. If I started going live a couple times a week, every single week, before I knew it, I probably would not even think twice. And that's the thing. It's like the more you do it, the less scary it is. You just have to get over that hump in the beginning. And just, go for it. So that's pretty much it. That's what I got. Does anyone have any questions or anything? Or
that was awesome, Courtney. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Rock at that. You guys must have questions for her. Come on. Dig deep. See, this is where the fear is setting in. Like, I want to ask this, but.
If you have a question, someone else does. Trust me.
I know. And I know you guys have questions. Come on. Maybe not. Oh, I see a question.
Okay, Court, so I've been talking with you about stuff. So my big thing is like organizing that list of people, because I've expanded my network. Like I've doubled it in the last 4 months.
Good.
And I'm doing little conversations here and there. Hey, how you doing? People that I knew in my, in high school that are coming through my feed, but I didn't really know them. So it's not that warm market. Mm-hmm. Anyway, how do you organize that list of all of those people that you're just starting relationships with? Because I feel like there's just so much of it. That's where I'm getting overwhelmed.
Okay. So that was a really big issue for me at first too, because I'm not good at going to someone's page and picking something up and starting, Kathy's really good at that. She'll just be like, oh my God, you guys were just at Disney. How was it? Or something. I just can't do that. I don't know what it is. I just can't. So that's good, Jackie, because this was really scary for me at first. And now I don't think twice about it. Every time someone accepts my friend request, I think I do it every other day. I'll write all their names down and I have a generic message that I send that's just hey girl, so happy we could connect. You kept coming up on my mutual friends feed or something. And I don't know, I saw we had a lot of mutual friends. So I figured I'd reach out and say hi or something. It's just something really simple like that. A couple emojis or whatever. And honestly, that just gets a conversation going that recognizes with Facebook and interaction. And I could be wrong, but I think that maybe makes me go into their news feed at some point. And it does two things. It shows me if they write back and we kind of start chatting, then they're my people. They're my tribe, right? If they completely ignore me, whatever. I don't think twice about it. The people that respond and interact are the people that now I might go to their page and look at their stuff, or I might try and continue the conversation. But now also they're probably all right, who is this crazy bitch and why is she messaging me? So they're going to go to my page and they're going to start looking at my stuff, right? And because I'm posting consistently, they're going to see what I do. And eventually they're probably going to or engage on a post of mine. And then I'm going to get that back and forth going. And that's how I do it now. And so it takes the fear out for me. It was really scary for me to do that too, Jack. I just couldn't get a conversation going that way. So now I get an interaction going with the generic message. And it just seems to work for me personally. I just do it every other day. I keep a list of everyone that accepts. And then it's the people that respond and the people that start engaging, then we start having a conversation. The people that ignore me, then they ignore me. I don't even think twice about it. Does that help? And I can send you exactly what I say too.
Okay, yeah, I think you have a couple of those things out. Yeah, it's just that I guess I've just been so surprised by how many people are willing to even start that conversation that I'm like, oh my God, there's all these people, now what? So, but that's helpful.
Yeah, so just give yourself, a number and just take it with the people that are actually responding and you feel that connection with, and just keep it going, And sometimes too, a lot of times I'll have a conversation if they respond and we'll go back and forth a little bit, especially if it's kids, oh, you have kids? Yeah, I have kids, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll end it. But then if I see maybe they start liking something or liked a post, I'll go back a couple days later and maybe invite them, like pretty casually. But I don't on that first conversation. So hopefully that's helpful.
That was good. Anybody else? Well, while you guys are thinking, I wrote down notes and I wrote down some of my favorite takeaways that she said. But one of the things that you said, Courtney, that I really love is how you mentioned, like, if you're scared, that means you should just do it. Because I feel like I say that all the time. Like, if you feel like you're going to throw up, that means you should definitely do it. It's a good sign to just go ahead and do it, because every time you have that feeling that's sick, nauseous, like, oh gosh, like I don't think I should be doing this, and you do it, that's how you keep growing, like Courtney mentioned, and that's how you keep knocking down that fear. And it is so true, guys. Like our minds and our egos, they're conditioned to keep us living in just that comfortable, comfy, doing everything the same, kind of just floating along through life. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, but la, 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 la.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime, like, you go to challenge yourself to do something totally different, it's true. Like, that's when the fear comes in and tries to get you start to talk to yourself like, oh, like, nah, I shouldn't do this. I'm not going to be any good, or I'm not going to reach out to that girl. Like, she'll never want to become a coach on the team. She's already goes to CrossFit or whatever it is. And then you have that 5 seconds there where you start to either you make the move and do it, or now you've talked yourself out of it. And the longer that you keep doing that, the bigger the fear gets and the harder it is for you to actually make that move the next time. And I love the exercise that you shared too. Because it's true, when you actually really sit there and, like, I was doing it in my mind as you were going through it, it's like, you sound like a mental case, right?
You do. It is. It's so true. Yeah. And we're really quick to, like, allow that internal chatter that goes on to, like, dictate our reactions and, like, what we do. But if you sit there and you actually question yourself and, like, your behavior or what you're going to do, you're like, all right, like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
It's really hard to do in the moment, but I actually have that written in my phone, like, and I honestly it's like, I use it even more for, like, marriage and my kids. Yeah. Like, okay, why are you really mad right now? Like, why are you really reacting this way? And it usually has nothing to do with even, like, the situation.
It's crazy when you step back and just analyze it like that. It's like, what the hell is going on? And the last thing that I really think, like, the fear and everything is really, 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 really important. But when Courtney mentioned the fact of really having, like, a strong why and just being able to really visualize how you want your life to look like down the road, I mean, I think that is, like, the most important thing. I mean, I can't even tell you enough. I mean, how many times, like, when I first started coaching back in the day, 4 years ago almost, when literally we had no money in our account. We had $35,000 of credit card debt. We were sinking by $1,000 every month. No one knew. I was going to have to go back to work, leave the kids. I mean, that sucked big time. And shit doesn't change itself on its own. You're either going to do something about it or you're just going to live a life like that. And I just remember literally every single night, like, didn't matter how tired I was, didn't matter how much I didn't want to work on the business. Like Courtney said, like, I didn't get any sleep the night before and I just didn't want to work. It was literally me thinking about what it would feel like for me to continue staying home with the kids every single day. And honestly, I actually thought about what it would be like if I had to drop my kids off at daycare, being only 22 months old and, like, 6 months old or whatever it was back in the day. Like, how horrible that would make me feel, because that is not what I wanted. And that right there in itself alone was enough. And I saw that every single day. And I would literally visualize our bank account growing. I literally would visualize making the phone call to the credit card company to pay off all the debt and rip up the cards and never use a goddamn card again. Everything that exactly where I am right now is exactly where I thought and knew I would be. And it's because of that visualization. I visualized me being able to give back to my parents and send them on trips to, like, Aruba and bring with us on Beachbody trips, and being able to send the kids to private schools because that's what we want to do. Moving to Florida, being by the beach, right? I mean, all these things didn't just happen. It wasn't just because I stayed a coach for 4 years and hit Success Club 10 every single month. it was because I had such a clear crystal vision, and I would see it in my head every night before I went to sleep. That's literally what I would see. And honestly, like now, when we were talking about fears, it's kind of hard for me now, because now that's where the fears come in. Like, well, what else like can we possibly do? And just there's all these things like, oh, like I want to have the kids' college fund set up. I mean, for some reason that really freaks me out. I don't know why. Probably because it's such a massive amount of money, but I just don't want them to have to worry about that when they graduate. Like that puts fear in me. Like, are you really going to be able to do that?
There's always going to be something.
There's always, it doesn't matter where you are, but my point is that like, you can't just be like floating around.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
it's got to be bigger. Yeah. Because,
yeah.
and it's got to be thinking about coaching and Beachbody as just an avenue to get you to what you want your life to be like. You know, like nobody, I'm not going to say like nobody wants to be a Beachbody coach or like, you know what I mean? But like just wanting to help people or enjoying the process of coaching isn't going to get you to show up every day. Like,
no.
So it's thinking about this as just an opportunity to get you where you want to be. And like and all you could learn and like what could it lead to? Who knows? Like everything we learn by being like the CEOs and the dictators of our own businesses, it's crazy what I've learned in the last 2 years. Like, who knows what this could be leading me to, right? Like, and so it's just kind of thinking about that bigger picture, I think, is really helpful to get you beyond those kind of silly internal chatter that goes on that stops you from taking those actions.
Yeah. So awesome. You guys can all do it.
Mm-hmm.
You all face the same battles and same struggles, but you guys are doing awesome. You got to have that vision. That's the key to it all. It really is the key to it all. You can never lose sight of it. Doesn't matter how long you've been coaching for. It doesn't matter if you're hitting roadblocks, hurdles are thrown your way. It doesn't matter if your top coach quits. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. You have to know that you can do it without any of those people. Like you have to know that you don't rely and depend on them to get to that place. So anyways, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much, Courtney. That was amazing.
You're welcome.
You're so good at that. I can't wait for people to listen to the replay. All right, guys. Well, have an awesome weekend, and I'll see you the next time. Bye, guys.
Oh, you snorted like a pig. Shut up.